Hey YouTube, what if stained glass could do more than just catch the light? What if it could actually carry a message? Today on Wooden Glass Art, I'm bringing Morse code, yes, those iconic dots and dashes, into the world of art as a design concept for a series of Suncatchers I'm building. You've seen it in the movies, characters tapping out Morse code on pipes to talk through walls or flickering lights to talk over great distances. It's a classic movie trope, but today we're bringing that secret language out of the cinema and into the shop. Now, in preparation for an art show, I needed an idea that was unique, simple to build, meaningful to look at, and it wasn't just a piece of art. It needed to be something more. So I landed on using Morse code patterns for these Suncatchers to spell out words that evoked uplifting feelings, happy in the case of this video. Now, these are not the most intricate pieces I've ever designed, so this video is less about pushing my artistic boundaries and more about sharing the idea with you and showing the jigs, templates, and techniques I used. For anyone who's not quite sure what Morse code is, and without going too deep into the history, it was created by Samuel Morse and Alfred Vail in the early 1800s to send and receive communications over long distances using electrical signals. Now, while it was originally built for the Latin alphabet, numbers, and punctuations, Morse code has since been adopted for non-Latin languages. But for this project, I'm sticking with the classic A to Zs. Each character has its own pattern of dots and dashes. Here I'm spelling out the word happy, and this is what it sounds like in Morse code. What I like about it is at its core, it's just patterns and rhythms, simple elements that can carry a message, and it's perfect for this project. What got me started on this idea is those classic corporate motivational posters. You know, the ones that gained popularity in the 2000s. A single word, a strong image, and a message that's meant to motivate you. Simple, direct, and very hard to miss the point. But what if I flipped that whole idea and created something that conveyed a similar message without being immediately obvious? Something subtly hidden in the design. Simple but meaningful. Not something you read, but something you feel because you know its meaning. Something you look at every day and feel good or maybe motivated, depending on the word. To be honest, this idea was originally sparked by one of my favorite sitcoms, How I Met Your Mother. And if you're a fan, you'll know what I mean. The back wall of Barney's offices felt very on brand with places I worked earlier in my career. Though in Barney's case, it wasn't exactly subtle. In his mind, he was awesome. Now, whether Morse code and stained glass were meant to go together, well, I guess we're about to find out. I hope you'll enjoy watching the process unfold. And if you like what you see, hit subscribe. I'm always building something new. With that, let me show you. So as mentioned, I'm spelling out the word happy with Morse code. And I've got it a little bit underway already. So I've got the H done. It's just four dots. The A is just a dot and a dash. And I'm just going to continue on. I just want to talk to you about the templates and the jigs that I used to get this. Let me explain. Because the glass isn't connected with each other, there's really no room for deviation. If you don't have them the same, like exactly the same or as similar as possible, your eye will really get distracted when you're looking at the object. So the importance is to try and get the circles as similar in shape and size, and the dashes as similar shape and size. And the things that I've done to do that. For the dots, I'm using this lens cutter. Fairly inexpensive online. You set it for the diameter you want to cut, and in this case it's 1 inch. Put a piece of glass under it, put a little bit of cutting oil in it, press down and just turn it, and you have a perfect circle. And you can cut out circles as fast as you can without any difficulty. For the dashes, what I like to do for the dashes is I have these pre-made templates already, so 1 1/8, 1 1/16, 1 inch, etc., all the way down to a 1/2 inch. And I've cut them so that they're under 1 inch, but when I cut it with my cutter, the difference is at the cutter it's exactly 1 inch. So I can put a piece of glass against my straight edge, put the template there, cut a line. That is 1 inch. To get the dashes so that they are perfect in shape is I've cut this little template out and rounded the corners off. And what I'll do is I will hot glue this block onto a rough size of that piece of glass, grind it on my grinder down to the wood aspect of it, and then just kind of pry off the glass. And as you can see, they're perfect shapes. They're, you know, very similar to each other, which is what I'm trying to get to. I'm just going to continue on, and I will just demonstrate the process. Just stick with me. So these pieces aren't going to be soldered together, they're just going to be connected through jump rings. And I like to make my own jump rings because it's just easy. Any particular craft store, stained glass store, you can buy 18 gauge tin wire like this. It just comes in spools, pretty inexpensive. What did I pay for this one? I don't know, 14 bucks, something like that. Sometimes I make a fair amount of jump rings. So I have this fairly long brass rod, but you can use wooden dowels as well. And I've drilled a little hole in the end of it, and it's as simple as just putting the end of the wire in it, crimp it over, and off we go. Got a little bit. And that should be enough. You just need to clip it off, take it out of its little drill, clip the end, and there we go. So it's like a little spring, and then all you do is just start cutting it down the center. I built this simple jig to hold both the glass and the jump ring steady while I solder them together. It keeps everything aligned, so I'm not fighting with the parts shifting around mid-solder. The jump ring rests on a single layer of cardboard, which lifts it just enough to match the thickness of the glass, so it sits evenly once it's soldered in place. So the material I'm going to use as the hanger for this project is just some reclaimed red cedar. I've just got loads of this stuff, and I just like to reuse reclaimed material. Can't remember where I got it from. I've just got a lot of it in my shop, and I just use it on a regular basis. This here is a 200-year-old-ish chunk of red cedar bark that I picked up on a local beach just one day walking the dog and just came across it, and I thought, wow, that is just immense. Like it was a chunk about this big and that thick, and just through research and calculation, like how many years does bark grow per year? How many inches? What I'm getting at. It's around 200 years old. I could be wrong, if somebody can correct me, but I've never seen such a thick piece of bark. But it's a really cool material to work with because it's got this really neat grain to it. It's very unstable, it's very weak. It wouldn't take much to just kind of shatter that piece. So if you're ever using bark, make sure you have extremely sharp tools, saw blades, because a saw blade will just destroy it. As you can see, I was cutting it. I was being very gentle and very slow and methodical in my movements with it. There's one piece that just needs to be glued. Once it's glued and stabilized on a solid piece of wood, you won't even notice it. You see a lot of varying grains, you won't even see that. So yeah, just let me show you. I'm just going to glue it up now and carry on. Now that the hanger has been milled and drilled, we can see that the bark is quite a bit more stable. It's such a soft material. So what I'm going to do to protect it is I'm going to give it 3 coats of semi-gloss polyurethane with wet sand in between each coat to give it that nice smooth surface. Once the polyurethane goes on, you can see this grain just pop. It's such a beautiful material to work with, and I'm really lucky to have found such a large chunk I can continuously use. The hanger holes, they're drilled 2 inches apart from each other, which will give the Morse code lettering quite a nice balance between each letter. So stick with me.